Welcome back to Therapy Inspired. Today, let's talk about that super familiar moment. It's the middle of the night, your body's exhausted, the room is quiet, and suddenly your brain decides to go into full replay mode. You're lying there thinking, why did I say that? Did I sound rude? What did they mean by that look? Does this sound familiar?
Oh, yeah. The 2 a.m. highlight reel of self-doubt and over-analysis. I'm Darby Crosby. I'm a registered psychotherapist and on the Registry for Marriage and Family Therapy, and we are so glad that you're here.
And I'm Kameela Osman, registered social worker and a psychotherapist. The content shared on Therapy Inspired is for information and educational purposes only. Listening or engaging in the content doesn't establish a therapist-client relationship. While we draw on our experience as psychotherapists, we don't reference specific clients or confidential cases. Some topics may be emotionally activating. If you find yourself feeling overwhelmed, we encourage you to pause, take care of yourself, or reach out to a mental health professional in your area. Your well-being matters. What's wild is that it's often not about the huge things. It's the tiny interactions, the meetings you had last week, or a text you sent hours ago, something 16 years ago, suddenly is on a loop like a bad song and you can't turn it off.
And that's what we want to unpack today. Why this happens, what it's trying to tell us, and how we can respond with a bit more gentleness and skill. Because rumination at night, it's not a flaw, it's a flag.
Let's start with what's happening in the brain. During the day, our prefrontal cortex, that part of our brain that's responsible for logic and planning, is more active. But at night, when we're resting, those cognitive filters dial down, so to speak. Emotional parts of the brain, like the amygdala, can become louder. So that thought you brushed off at 10 a.m. is now front and center at 2 a.m., amplified and dramatic.
Plus, usually at night, you're alone. There's no external distraction, no one to say, hey, that's not a big deal. So your brain fills in the silence with what ifs and should haves.
It's also a nervous system thing. If you've had a busy day or an overstimulating day, your body might still be running on adrenaline and cortisol. So even though you're in bed, your system hasn't fully powered down yet. And an activated body keeps the mind spinning.
Rumination is often our brain's way to try to sort of solve something. It thinks if I go over this enough times, I'll figure out the perfect response. Or if I replay it, I'll find the part where I went wrong. But that mental loop rarely gives us answer, just exhaustion.
Yeah. It is an illusion of control, really. Our brain is trying to find closure, but when there's ambiguity or when we fear judgment, the mind fills in the gaps with worst case scenarios. So the conversation becomes, they probably think I'm annoying, or I must have looked so awkward, even though you have no real evidence of that.
And this pattern is especially common in people who've experienced criticism, rejection, or high social expectations growing up. If you had to walk on eggshells, you may now overanalyze everything as a form of emotional self-protection.
Let me be clear. Late night rumination is survival. Your brain is trying to understand and reconcile your experiences. It doesn't mean that you're broken in any way or something's wrong with you. It's a learned attempt to feel safe. But what if instead of beating ourselves up for it, we met that part of ourselves with curiosity?
Yeah, like instead of asking, why can't I just let go of it? Try asking, what am I afraid this moment meant about me? Or what's the story I'm telling myself right now?
Exactly. You might uncover something deeper, like a fear of not being liked or of being misunderstood or of losing a connection. That's where the real work begins. Not in the silence of thoughts, or the spinning of them, but in responding differently when they show up. And it doesn't mean you have to process it all at 2 a.m.
So let's talk about what we can do to help ourselves. So one strategy is a brain dump before bed, literally writing out everything that's swirling in your mind. No editing, no structure, just get them out of your head and onto paper.
I love that. I also often recommend a practice called reassurance statements. These aren't toxic positivity, they're grounded affirmations like, I did the best I could in that moment, or it's okay if that moment was awkward, I'm still worthy.
There's also something powerful in creating a nighttime boundary with your brain, like telling yourself, I'll revisit this in the morning if I still need to, but right now I deserve rest. And you can even visualize putting that thought in a metal box and gently placing it on a shelf.
Love that. And let's not forget the basics. A calm environment, soothing sounds, low lighting, deep breathing. We can't think our way out of rumination sometimes. It can often become a bit of a tug of war. And so instead, what we can try is to regulate ourselves out of it.
I also want to normalize that sometimes late night rumination is tied to deeper stuff like unresolved grief or anxiety or trauma. If it feels like your thoughts are hijacking your peace regularly, it's not something that you have to carry alone. Therapy can help.
Yes, and if you're someone who often feels like they say the wrong thing or worry too much, please know that overthinking doesn't mean anything is wrong with you. It usually means you care deeply, you're considerate, you're a critical thinker overall. Somewhere along the line, you learned you to be extra cautious.
But we can rewrite that. We can learn to trust ourselves more and to sit with ambiguity and to stop giving every awkward moment so much power.
So if you find yourself replaying conversations at 2 a.m., take a breath, offer yourself compassion, and remember one uncomfortable moment doesn't define your whole character and who you are.
And sleep doesn't require perfection. You're allowed to rest even if your brain wants to do the night shift. That's not a weakness, it's wisdom.
Thanks for spending time with us. If this episode helped you feel seen, soothed, please share it with someone who needs to hear it too.
And if you're listening to this in the middle of the night, maybe it's your sign to gently close your eyes, take a breath, and know you're safe enough to rest right now.
Until next time, be gentle with yourself, especially when your thoughts are loud.
Especially then, and next time, please join us when we explore why rest feels wrong, the psychology of overworking.